Hey guys, it's Nathan. This is just like an update video on sort of what I've been doing over the past week. Because I haven't put out any like new videos, so I'm sorry about that. It's been quite like an up and down week. So first off, like we've been doing, I think I mentioned before, like this sort of coronavirus deals. Now, previously we were selling like ventilators, and I've had like a friend close a deal, and he made like a large amount of money. He made like £500,000 in about GBP, which is about 700,000 USD in like 4 days from closing one deal. So we were previously working on that. We've been doing that for like a month now. We've come very close a number of times. However, they've sort of fallen out, and we've now moved on to like more like protective gear, not masks, because there's just so many like scammers and dodgy things going on, but more like gloves, foot protection, face shields, and like medical gowns and things like that. There's a massive shortage within like the US and worldwide. So we've been selling those, and again this week we came very close to closing two deals. One of them was for $4.1 million, which would have made both my partner and I about $300,000 each. And then there was another deal that we got very like last minute. It was from an investment fund, and they pulled out before. They wanted the goods from China to land within about 3 or 4 days, which is possible, but then they pulled out at the last minute, and then they called back up 2 days later to like reinitiate the deal, and they were like, let's do it again, like give us the bank details, we're going to make the transfer now. And then they just sort of got cold feet again towards the end of the process. So I wasn't recording that, but then I was actually thinking it could make like quite interesting content. It's a bit different to like what I usually put out, but I think it's quite interesting, like getting very like I mean, hopefully we're going to actually secure one of these large deals. But it's utilizing like quite a different skill set to what I usually do. Like we're still performing like automation and things like that. I've got like a little ads campaign set up here, which is now like bringing leads in. Previously, I was just using LinkedIn. But I actually came from like a telephone sales background, and it's now utilizing like that skill set again. And it's quite fun to do something different. Usually on all of my businesses, they're quite like disconnected. In terms of with like the customer, they're quite like low touch, so it's just push traffic to a landing page, optimize conversion rate, customers come on board, and it's like self onboarding, so it doesn't really require any input from me. Whereas these deals, like you're very involved in the process. Like lead comes in, call up the lead, validate everything, and send everything across, and try and close the deal. So it's interesting to work on something different, like utilizing a different skill set, and yeah, it's been good fun. So like if you do want, I'm happy to like record sort of what we're doing. We're selling to like private hospitals. Like we don't really want to make money off of sort of like government funded hospitals. Like for example, in the UK, everything's like government funded and it's paid by the taxpayers' money. So we're not trying to like profit massively off those types of things. However, if someone's operating a hospital as a business, and they're profiting themselves, I morally I have no issues making money from them. And like I don't know what people's opinion will be towards this. Like again, I have no issue. Like if a hospital is profiting off themselves, I have no issue like making money off them. And when with the type of margins that we're talking about, the only reason someone's going to go for us is because they can't find it cheaper anywhere else. So as much as we do have like very nice margins on these deals, it's like we actually have still a very good price point compared to anyone else. So it's I'm happy to record some stuff and put some content out there. We've still got the $4.1 million deal potentially on the table. It's the weekend now, so like lawyers are just doing their sort of due diligence on us because we're a foreign company. They don't like they're just a bit like skeptical about dealing with us. But yeah, we'll see if that comes through. So I've just got like a small ads campaign, just bidding on like various different keywords and putting clicks through, and then I'm using like Notifier to collect phone numbers from people, and it's just being synced across, and then we go back and call them. We could also sync over to a CRM and build like an automated system, but we don't get like quite enough phone numbers in order to do this. It's also quite expensive to acquire a lead. It's currently costing to get a valid lead. I mean, we spent about $300 yesterday, and we got 3 very good leads. One of them, the deal size was about $18 million. Another one, it was about a $1 million deal, and the other one was for, I can't remember the figure off the top of my head, but we got 3 like very, very good leads, very relevant to us, and it cost us $300. So it's not cheap, but with the type of profit margins we're talking about, to just get one deal through, it would cover the cost of everything like 100 times over. So, I'm going to scale up this ads campaign. I think for us to actually push a deal over the line, we're going to need to spend about $5,000 on ads, because there are a lot of time wasters in this industry, and people need like signatures and approvals and so on, and it all just like, there's a lot of like processes and politics when you're dealing with like enterprise companies. But I'm confident that we can get a deal through. So if you are interested, like, I'm happy to document everything there. Other than that, I've secured a few like freelance contracts. Like, one is with like quite a large airline, so that's quite interesting, that they want me to manage their LinkedIn automation. So I said that I'm happy to do that for them, because they want me to manage like 25 accounts. Like, it's fine for me to do that. I wouldn't manage like one account at a time on a freelance basis, but yeah, I've just secured that contract, which is nice. We're just exchanging NDAs and so on. In other news, I've finished building an automation for another client, so that reminds me I need to send an invoice out for that. And like, I don't think I've said to anyone before, but I live in, I may have mentioned it, like at the moment I live in Tbilisi, which is the capital of Georgia, Georgia the country, not the state, based in like Eastern Europe. And I would like to set up a base in Georgia. That's my like current goals. There's quite an interesting guy called like Andrew Henderson. Some of you may know him. He's like a offshore tax consultant, like the leading one in the world for helping entrepreneurs pay like 0% tax. So in Georgia, I can legally pay about 1% tax, which is nice. But he talks quite a lot about sort of going where you're treated best. And having like various bases across the world. Like, there's no one country or city that can offer like everything. There are some really cool cities out there, but like the weather isn't always good, or they haven't got a beach, or like the tax system isn't, they've got really good infrastructure, but the tax system isn't very good. And I sort of really agree with that principle of like spreading yourself out, finding countries that you really like, and setting up like multiple bases. So I grew up in London. I lived there for 22 years. There are things that I love about London, and there are things that I dislike about London. I've been living in Georgia now for about a year, and I love it here. So I'm going to set up a base here. Like, my girlfriend is here. She's from Georgia, and so I'm looking at like buying a property here. So at the moment, and they'll also give a mortgage to foreigners, which is very rare for you to hear in a foreign country. So, and you could buy like a really, really nice apartment out here for like $200,000 in like the center of the city. So it's a really good opportunity. Property prices are going up, so I'm going to do that. And then I also spent a month out in Colombia about 2 months ago now, and I just had like a a great time out there. We stayed in like Medellin with a friend of mine and business partner of mine, and we just had like a great time. So I'd love to set up a base out there as well. Like in terms of business, I think it's not that great for companies. Like Georgia is much better, like with the small business tax and everything that I mentioned. And like here there's like a lot of good technical talent. Like the entire development team for Notifier is from Georgia. And they've got really good talent here. Whereas in like Colombia, it wasn't quite so good on some of the other aspects, but in terms of like the city, it's far more developed than Georgia. There's some like really, I had a great time out there, really good time. So I'd also like to set up another base in Colombia over the next coming year. So I'd buy a property in Georgia first, live out here for like 3 to 6 months per year, and then when I'm not living here, put it on Airbnb, rent it out, whatever, and go and stay in like Medellin. Medellin has really good weather, like all year round. It's just perfect weather, so you never have to worry about any issues there, and just work remotely for a couple of months. Then I also liked Asia, like Bali. I don't know if I could live in Bali, to be honest. It's great fun for a holiday. So I don't know if I'd buy a property out there, but I'd definitely be happy to go out there and for like a month per year and just, just whizzing around on like a moped and working remotely and things like that. It's just really good fun. And I find that if you don't do things like that, like I have a big problem of getting really stuck in my habits. I don't like switch things up often enough, and you just find time just like flies by because you're just doing the same thing every day. Like every day just rolls into another, and I feel like my life is just sort of flashing by. So I just spend my days just working, and like, I don't change anything. So by changing your like location, going, experiencing new things, doing different things, living in different countries, and so on, you just not only do you like broaden your mind to like Tbilisi, where I live now, and Colombia are like almost complete opposites. But I love them. I really like them both. So to give myself like contrast in life, like spending a few months living in one country and a few months living in another, I think is really, really cool way to live. So you're not doing like the digital nomad life. Like I have done that before, and to be honest, for me, it doesn't really work. If you're working as like a freelancer or something, it's absolutely fine, or working in your own business. But if you're trying to grow a startup and being really serious about growing a company, you can't have all of the little stresses and problems of in life of like needing to keep finding different Airbnbs, of moving around. Like you need like a base, a set place to work from, and to be able to like work hard without any distractions. So this is like the best way, in my opinion, to do that, is to have like a set base somewhere you can go to, everything's set up and there for you, and just hop from base to base, and you're just traveling every like few months. So I think that's a really cool way to live, and that's the way that I'm planning to sort of move my life. I've spent like a long time in Georgia now, and I really like it here. Like everything's very close together. I live in like the center of the city. It's very cheap, and you can have like, gym membership and like really nice gym, like eating out every day. You can have your food delivered to you. So you don't have to worry about the little things in life. You can hire someone here for like $300 per month as like a full-time personal assistant to sort of take care of everything in your like day-to-day life. And I'm really big on automating things, whether it's through humans or through software. So yeah, I really like that. If you haven't been to Georgia, I definitely recommend visiting here. Whether you like it enough to live here or not is another story, but as a country to visit, they're really, really warm and welcoming people. So yeah, I think it's definitely come out and visit the country and see what you think.